Let's be real for a second. Running a business, or even just trying to plan your career, can feel completely chaotic. I mean, one minute you're riding high, and the next, some global event you never saw coming can just change everything. So how in the world are you supposed to plan for what's next when the future feels like a total guessing game?
You're just staring at the numbers and they're in an absolute freefall. What on earth just happened?
You know that new product you poured a year of your life into? Yeah, a new regulation just made it basically useless overnight.
And here's the thing that really stings. Your competitor saw it coming. How do they do that? How do you stop getting blindsided by forces you can't even see? This is such a perfect way to think about it. You can have the best crew in the world, a perfect map of your own ship, but that tells you absolutely nothing about the giant, unpredictable storm brewing just over the horizon.
So to navigate all that chaos, you need way more than just your internal map. You need a strategic weather forecast. You need a tool to help you see what's coming before it hits you.
Okay, so let's get into it. That tool is called a PESTLE analysis. Now, it's not a crystal ball, let's be clear. Think of it more like a strategic compass, one that's designed to help you methodically scan that huge, messy world outside your own four walls and actually get a clear read on what's going on.
So what is it exactly? Well, PESTLE is an acronym for 6 key areas. It's a framework that forces you, systematically, to look at the major outside forces that are totally out of your control but, and this is the key part, can have a massive impact on your success. It's your eye on the horizon.
All right, now let's get into the nuts and bolts. We're going to break down each of those 6 letters one by one. And to make this super concrete, we're going to look at all of them through the lens of one industry that is getting hit by all these forces at once: electric vehicles.
First up, P is for political. This is all about the long arm of the government. It's about how government policies, its stability, and its agendas literally shape the entire landscape you're trying to operate in. This is the power of the state, setting the rules of the game.
For the EV industry, this is just massive. A new government decides to offer a tax credit? Boom, an electric vehicle is suddenly thousands of dollars cheaper. On the flip side, they slap on new trade tariffs? Bam, the price of batteries could skyrocket overnight. Political decisions aren't just background noise. They can literally make or break an entire market.
So from politics, we move on to E, for economic. This is that big picture financial weather we were talking about. The overall health of the economy has a direct line to your business and, maybe more importantly, to what's going on in your customers' wallets.
You know what's so interesting here is how it's all a chain reaction. When inflation goes up, the raw materials to build an EV cost more. When interest rates climb, car loans get more expensive, and suddenly fewer people want to buy. But hey, if the economy is booming, more people have the cash to even think about getting one. See? It's all connected.
Next up, S is for social. This one is all about people. We're talking culture, lifestyles, values, and big demographic trends. This is about understanding the why behind what your customers actually want.
I mean, let's be honest, the massive social push towards being more environmentally conscious is probably the single biggest reason the EV market is exploding right now. For a lot of people, buying an electric car isn't just about getting from A to B, it's a statement about their values and the kind of future they want.
Now for T, technological. And this one is moving at, well, lightning speed. This is all about the innovations and disruptions that can make a business model that worked yesterday completely obsolete tomorrow, or create these incredible new opportunities out of thin air.
For electric vehicles, technology isn't just a factor, it's the whole game. On one hand, you've got these huge opportunities, like a new battery breakthrough that could double a car's range. But on the other hand, you have brand new threats, like the very real risk of someone hacking into our cars, which are basically becoming computers on wheels.
So what about L for legal? Now you might be thinking, hang on, that sounds a lot like political. And you're right, they're related, but there's a really crucial difference. Political is about the direction the government is heading. Legal is about the specific laws and regulations that are on the books right now that you absolutely, positively must follow. This is all about compliance, pure and simple.
And that brings us to our final letter, the second E, for environmental. This category has become so important lately. It covers all the ecological forces that can affect your supply chain, your operations, and even your brand's reputation. And for the EV industry, this is a total double-edged sword. Its entire promise is about being better for the environment, which is a huge opportunity. But that also puts its supply chain under a microscope, raising some really tough questions about the environmental impact of, say, mining for battery materials.
Okay, so PESTLE sounds pretty amazing, doesn't it? A game changer. But here comes the reality check. It is an incredibly powerful tool, but it is not a magic bullet. It has some very real limitations that you have to understand.
And this right here highlights the biggest catch. PESTLE only looks outside. It's focused entirely on the external world, which means it's only giving you half the story. If you only use PESTLE, you're basically trying to navigate with one eye closed. It completely ignores your own company's strengths and weaknesses.
So, how do you fix that? Easy. You pair PESTLE with its perfect partner, a SWOT analysis. Think of them as the yin and yang of strategy. PESTLE scans the big, wide world to find your opportunities and threats. Then, you plug that info directly into a SWOT analysis, which combines it with a hard look at your internal strengths and weaknesses. And just like that, you get the full picture.
So, I think the crucial point here is to reframe what you're even trying to do with a tool like this. It's not about being perfect, it's about being prepared.
And this is probably the most important thing to remember. A PESTLE analysis isn't about perfectly predicting the future. That's impossible. No one could do that. It's about building your strategic foresight. It's a tool that forces you to look up from the daily grind and actually scan the horizon so you can start to anticipate change instead of always just reacting to it.
And that's the thought I really want to leave you with. When you start to use a framework like this, you begin to spot the big trends before they become headlines. So ask yourself, looking at the world through this PESTLE lens, what's that invisible force that's gathering steam on your horizon right now that's going to reshape your world next? That's the real power of thinking this way.